Rule 6. Memento mori. Remember your mortality. Here's a question we often avoid. What if today was your last day? It's a question that makes most of us uneasy, yet it's one of the most powerful tools the Stoics used to truly live. This isn't about fear, but rather about focus. The Stoics called it memento mori. Remember, you must die. It sounds dark, doesn't it? But the purpose of this practice is not to dwell on death. It's to bring intensity, clarity, and gratitude into every moment of life. In the world of Stoicism, memento mori was more than a reminder of mortality. It was a call to live fully and wisely. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, wrote in his Meditations, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." Why? Because when we remember that life is finite, we stop wasting it. We become more mindful, more grateful, and more courageous. The Stoics believed that by facing our mortality, we eliminate the trivial distractions and live with greater purpose. In every moment, in every choice, we are reminded to ask ourselves, am I living in a way that matters? Am I using my time well? Let me tell you a story. Imagine a Roman gladiator about to enter the arena. The air is thick with dust, the roar of the crowd. In his hand, a simple symbol is carved, memento mori. He knows his time is uncertain, but he faces it with strength, with presence. He fights not out of rage, but out of a deep reverence for life, knowing that each breath, each moment could be his last. This isn't just a story of battle, it's a story of focus. By accepting his mortality, the gladiator lives not in fear, but in fierce appreciation. He steps into each moment fully. The Stoics wanted us to live like this, aware, awake, unburdened by the future, unchained from the past. How do we bring memento mori into our daily lives? Here are 3 Stoic practices to keep this powerful reminder close to heart. Tip 1. Visualize your mortality. First, visualize your mortality. The Stoics suggested we reflect daily on the fact that each day could be our last, not to scare us, but to inspire us. Try this exercise. Every morning, remind yourself, today could be my last day. Notice how this shifts your priorities, making you focus on what truly matters. Tip 2. Prioritize your time. Second, live with purpose. Seneca warned that life is long if you know how to use it. When you view time as finite, it becomes precious. Make a list of what you value most, the people, the goals, the experiences that make life worthwhile. Cut away the distractions and meaningless routines. Let each day align with these values. Tip 3. Practice gratitude for the present moment. And finally, practice gratitude. When we remember that nothing is promised, every moment, even the simple ones, becomes a gift. Every meal, every conversation, every quiet evening, every sunrise. Don't wait for the extraordinary. Appreciate the ordinary moments because they are finite. Remember, memento mori isn't about fearing death, it's about seizing life. The Stoics taught us to live so well that when our final moment does come, we can meet it without regret. So let us live fully, gratefully, and fearlessly. Embrace each moment because this, right here, right now, is the only certainty we have. Rule 7. Don't take things personally. The Stoics understood that we can't control what others say or think, but we can control our own reactions. Epictetus, the former slave turned Stoic philosopher, taught that it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. In other words, other people's words or actions only affect us if we let them. Think about that. The power to be unshaken by criticism, unaffected by praise or blame, lies within us. By not taking things personally, we gain control over our peace of mind and can focus on what truly matters. living according to our own principles, not the judgments of others. Here's a story from the life of Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor of Rome. As emperor, he faced constant criticism. People questioned his decisions, mocked his beliefs, and some even conspired against him. But Marcus wrote to himself in his meditations, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. None of them can hurt me." Imagine that. Surrounded by people who criticized him, Marcus kept his peace by remembering that others' words and actions reflect their character, not his own. He didn't take things personally. Instead, he focused on what he could control, his own thoughts and actions. Rule 8. Maintain your inner sanctuary. Have you ever felt like the world around you is just too much? Like life's demands, conflicts, and noise keep pulling you in every direction? It's exhausting, isn't it? To the Stoics, this feeling of being overwhelmed was nothing new. They saw life as a turbulent sea, and they knew that if they didn't anchor themselves, they'd be swept away. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher, called this anchoring place an inner sanctuary. A refuge within where no storm could reach, a quiet place inside where he could always return, no matter what was happening around him. Today, we're talking about how to maintain that inner sanctuary, the place within you that can bring calm in any chaos. For Marcus and the Stoics, the inner sanctuary was more than just an idea. It was a practice, a way of life. Marcus wrote to himself, "People seek retreats for themselves in the mountains, by the sea, or in nature. But the best retreat is within your own soul." Think about that. The world around him, filled with wars, betrayals, sickness, could not shake his peace because he had built a fortress within, a place of calm. So what does it mean to have an inner sanctuary, and how do we keep it unshaken? The Stoics believed that this sanctuary isn't found in escaping reality or running from challenges. No, they believed it's within our own mind, in the strength of our thoughts, that true peace is maintained. Think of Epictetus, who was born into slavery and endured hardship after hardship. Yet he said, "You may fetter my leg, but not even Zeus has the power to break my freedom." For Epictetus, true freedom was not about the circumstances he couldn't control. It was about his own response, the way he chose to think. He held on to his dignity, his calm, his sense of purpose, as if it were a sacred temple within himself that no one could take away. That was his inner sanctuary. When you see life in this way, each day becomes a chance to strengthen your inner sanctuary. You begin to notice that other people's words and actions don't need to disturb your peace. Situations that would normally trigger frustration or disappointment lose their power. The Stoics knew that the true source of chaos isn't the world around us, but the way we let the world affect our minds. By guarding our thoughts, we guard our sanctuary. Imagine starting each day by stepping into this sanctuary. You wake up, take a quiet moment, and remember, my peace does not depend on what happens around me. It's rooted within me. In that moment, before the day pulls you into its whirlwind, you remind yourself of what matters and what doesn't. By grounding yourself in your inner values, you're telling the world that you are in control of your mind, no matter the noise outside. Throughout the day, whenever you feel that pull of stress or worry, return to this sanctuary. Imagine it as a place of calm that you carry inside. Let it remind you of the choice that the Stoics always taught. You can't control events, but you can control your mind. Each time you come back to that stillness, it grows stronger. The outer world may stay loud, but you have learned to keep your inner world quiet and calm. And at the end of each day, take time to reflect. The Stoics would look back and ask themselves, did I keep my peace today? Did I stay true to my principles, or did I let myself be pulled off course? This daily return to your sanctuary strengthens it, making it a place you can rely on, no matter the day's challenges. Here's something to think about. The next time life feels overwhelming, close your eyes and step back into that sanctuary. Breathe, let go of what you can't control, and feel the quiet that's always there, waiting for you. And if you've found ways to cultivate that inner peace, share your thoughts in the comments. We're all on this journey together. Remember, the Stoics knew that true peace is not found in the absence of storms, but in the strength we carry within. By maintaining our inner sanctuary, we give ourselves the freedom to face anything without losing ourselves. So, keep that space within strong, nurture it daily, and let it be the calm in your life's storm. This is the gift of a peaceful mind, and it's one you can carry with you, always. Imagine this. You're holding a beautiful glass, maybe a gift from someone special or just something that brings you joy. Every time you see it, you feel a little lift, a bit of gratitude. But now, imagine someone told you that glass is destined to break one day. Would you still appreciate it the same way, or would knowing it won't last make you cling to it even more? The Stoics had a unique view on this. They believed that true appreciation comes from loving something without needing it to last forever, without needing it to stay the same. It's about valuing the present moment without clinging to it. Today, we're exploring Rule 9, appreciate without needing. For the Stoics, appreciation didn't mean grasping or clinging. In fact, Epictetus taught that true freedom is the ability to enjoy what's in front of us without depending on it for happiness. He used the example of a glass. He said, "When you drink from a glass, consider it as already broken." At first, this may sound harsh, but think of it like this. If you view the glass as already broken, you can appreciate it fully without fearing when it may shatter. You can enjoy it without the constant anxiety of losing it. This isn't about being detached from life or not caring. It's actually the opposite. The Stoics believed that by not depending on things to make us happy, we could enjoy them more deeply. When we need something to stay the same or last forever, we risk losing our peace when it changes. But if we see things as temporary gifts, we can truly appreciate them without the fear of losing them. Think about Marcus Aurelius. He was an emperor, yes, but he was also a father, a husband, a friend. He faced loss and heartache just like any of us. He knew that life is filled with things that bring us joy, but are temporary. He wrote in his meditations, "Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart, and don't depend on them to bring you peace." He knew that his happiness couldn't depend on the things around him staying the same. Imagine if Marcus had needed his role as emperor, or his family, or his wealth to make him feel complete. When life changed, as it inevitably does, he would have been devastated. Instead, he cherished these aspects of life deeply, but he didn't base his peace on them. This allowed him to love and value each part of his life fully, without being enslaved by the need to hold on to them. So, how do we bring this wisdom into our own lives? It starts with noticing how we approach the things we love. Take a moment to look around you, at the people, objects, and experiences you treasure. Imagine that each one is, in a sense, temporary, that it may change or even fade. Instead of filling you with fear, this perspective can fill you with a deep appreciation for each moment you have with them. Imagine greeting each day without expecting anything in particular from it, just showing up and appreciating whatever it brings. When you take this approach, life begins to feel like a gift. The things we appreciate become more meaningful because we're no longer distracted by the need to cling to them. Think of how a sunset feels. We don't hold on to it, We don't grasp it, but we enjoy it fully, knowing it will end. Imagine living every moment with this same sense of appreciation, loving it fully, but without grasping or needing it to stay. This is the heart of Stoic wisdom, finding joy without attachment, so that when things do change, we're still at peace within ourselves. Here's something to consider. Next time you feel joy or gratitude for something or someone in your life, pause and appreciate it without holding on to it too tightly. Remind yourself that this moment is a gift. Notice the difference, the depth of gratitude that comes when we love without needing. The Stoics teach us that we're free to appreciate everything life brings, as long as we don't depend on it for our happiness. Imagine living this way, able to love fully and let go freely, to appreciate without needing. This is the gift of a mind that finds joy within, a mind that is truly free. Rule 10. Practice gratitude daily and how this simple mindset can change the way you live. For the Stoics, gratitude was more than just a feel-good practice. It was a way of anchoring ourselves in reality, of remembering what we have instead of always looking at what we lack. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, would say, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor." What he meant was that by constantly chasing what we don't have, we miss what's right here in front of us. To the Stoics, every day offered countless reasons for gratitude. Marcus Aurelius, in his journal, would remind himself each morning to appreciate his breath, the warmth of his body, even the people around him. And by doing this, he found freedom. He could face challenges, setbacks, and uncertainty, yet remain grounded in a sense of contentment. Gratitude was his armor against the disappointments and frustrations of life. Think about Epictetus. He was born a slave, he faced harsh treatment and restrictions, and he had every reason to feel bitter or resentful. But instead, he saw his life through a different lens. Epictetus would say, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for things he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." Despite his circumstances, he found a way to feel thankful every day, for the air he breathed, for his mind's freedom, for the chance to live and learn another day. To Epictetus, this wasn't just positive thinking. It was a discipline. He knew that whatever he focused on grew stronger, so he chose to focus on what he had rather than what he lacked. And even in the hardest conditions, he found peace. Imagine if we could do the same, if we could look at our lives, even on the hardest days, and see something to appreciate, to be grateful for. So, how do we bring this Stoic mindset into our lives? It begins with noticing the things we often overlook. The Stoics believed that every morning, before facing the day, we should pause and recognize the good that's already here. Even a single moment spent in gratitude sets a different tone, one where we're not searching for more, but appreciating enough. Imagine seeing everything around you, your friends, family, even your challenges, as things you're lucky to have, rather than things you're owed. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that each moment, each breath, is a gift. When we see life this way, we're less likely to take anything for granted. Gratitude becomes a source of strength, a way of grounding ourselves in what truly matters. And with each day, gratitude grows. It can be as simple as noticing the warmth of sunlight, the laughter of a friend, or even the fact that we're alive to experience this very moment. It's about training our minds to find value, not in the extraordinary, but in the everyday. So, here's something to think about. The next time you feel a moment of comfort or joy, even a small one, take a breath and let yourself appreciate it fully. Notice how it feels to live with that kind of awareness, to see life as something precious, even in its smallest details. This is how the Stoics practiced gratitude, as a way of living, a way of seeing. Remember, the Stoics teach us that gratitude isn't about waiting for perfect conditions or extraordinary events. It's about embracing each moment as a gift, seeing life's beauty in the ordinary, and finding peace in simply being. Practicing gratitude every day doesn't just change how we feel, it transforms how we live. Rule 11. Cultivate a Stoic mindset. The Stoics believed that true strength didn't come from controlling the world outside, but from mastering the world inside. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor of Rome, faced war, betrayal, and loss, yet he wrote in his journal, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." For Marcus, strength came from knowing that his mind was the one thing he could truly control. When you cultivate a Stoic mindset, you start to see challenges differently. Instead of reacting out of fear or frustration, you pause. You observe your thoughts, your emotions, and you ask yourself, is this within my control or not? The Stoics believed that freedom lies in focusing only on what we can control and letting go of what we can't. This simple shift changes everything. Consider the story of Epictetus. Born into slavery, Epictetus endured hardship from an early age. He had no control over his circumstances, but he found freedom in something deeper, his mindset. He once said, "We suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgments about them." Instead of focusing on what he lacked, Epictetus focused on his mind, his thoughts, and his perspective, and by doing so, he found a peace that even his harshest trials couldn't shake. Epictetus's story shows us that even in the worst of circumstances, we can choose how to respond. The Stoics didn't believe that life would always go our way. They knew it wouldn't. But they believed that we have the power to decide how we see every situation and how we let it affect us. This is the heart of a Stoic mindset, not denying life's hardships, but facing them with strength and grace. So, what does it mean to cultivate a Stoic mindset in everyday life? It begins with awareness. The Stoics encouraged us to see things as they are, without adding layers of expectation or frustration. Imagine for a moment that the next time something doesn't go your way, you pause. You don't react right away. Instead, you ask yourself, is this something I control? When you cultivate this mindset, you learn to find calm in the midst of chaos. A Stoic mindset is like an anchor in a storm. Even when emotions swell, when things feel out of control, you have a steady place to return to, your own mind grounded in reality. This way, we can engage with life as it is, not as we wish it were, and we become stronger for it. 12. Commit to daily practice, a rule that teaches us to find strength and resilience in the quiet discipline of doing the work every single day. For the Stoics, daily practice wasn't about impressing others or achieving perfection. It was about building something deep within that no one could take away. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, faced enormous challenges, yet he wrote in his journal each morning, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I am rising to do the work of a human being." Each day, he reminded himself why he practiced, not to be perfect, but to be a little better, a little stronger than yesterday. To commit to daily practice is to take ownership of your life, to recognize that each small effort matters. The Stoics believed that the path to inner strength was paved with these small, consistent actions. By showing up every day, we shape our character and prepare ourselves for whatever life may bring. Consider Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher who began life as a slave. Despite his lack of freedom, Epictetus focused on what he could control, his own mind. Every day, he practiced patience, resilience, and discipline. He often said, No great thing is created suddenly. It takes time and care for something to blossom, to bear fruit, and then ripen. Through his daily practice, Epictetus built an inner strength that couldn't be shaken, regardless of his circumstances. His story reminds us that true progress and true freedom are created over time, with patience and steady effort. The Stoics teach us that growth isn't about grand moments. It's about those small, intentional actions that we take every day. By committing to daily practice, we're not just working toward a goal, we're shaping our character, building resilience, and preparing ourselves for whatever life may throw our way. So, as you go forward, remember, each small effort is a step toward becoming the person you want to be. That's the power of daily practice, the quiet discipline that builds true strength from within. As we wrap up our deep dive into the 12 Stoic rules on how to emotionally detach from someone, I want you to take a moment and think about something. In a world where we're constantly seeking validation, approval, or connection, how often do we find ourselves tangled up in relationships that drain us or hold us back? The Stoics understood this struggle, and their timeless wisdom offers us the key to freedom from emotional attachments that don't serve us. Through the lens of Stoicism, we learned that emotional detachment isn't about shutting others out or becoming indifferent. It's about freeing ourselves from unhealthy emotional dependencies so we can show up for others and for ourselves in a way that's grounded, authentic, and true. So, I want to ask you, what would it feel like to release the emotional weight you carry in your relationships? To move through life with the calm assurance that you are not defined by others, but by the strength and clarity you cultivate within yourself? The Stoics believed this is the key to true peace and freedom. By practicing emotional detachment, we are not removing love from our lives, but making space for a deeper, more resilient love, one that isn't bound by attachment or fear. I hope today's exploration of Stoic wisdom has resonated with you and that you feel inspired to begin practicing these rules in your own life. Remember, emotional detachment is not a one-time thing. It's a daily practice, a constant reminder to focus on what you can control and to let go of what you can't. If you found this video valuable, I invite you to subscribe to The Wisdom Haven, where we explore timeless wisdom to help you live with intention, clarity, and emotional freedom. We're building a community of seekers who want to live deeper, more purposeful lives, and I would love for you to be part of it. Thank you for joining me today. Take these Stoic insights with you, and remember, emotional detachment isn't about closing yourself off from the world. It's about creating the space to grow, to heal, and to become the best version of yourself. Until next time, stay true to your path, and may wisdom guide you.